Hello, good afternoon. You are welcome to the Expectant Parent Academy channel um, on the holiday bootcamp for parents of toddlers. I am Chioma Okoli and I am the founder of the Expectant Parent Academy, which is a coaching outfit for pregnant parents, for expectant parents and parents within the first 3 years of their parenting. All right. So the holiday boot camp started last week, Monday. We've had 5 days already, which ran from Monday to Friday. And today is week two, and this is actually day one of week two or day six, all of it put together. All right. So last week we tried to establish make preambles about the things that your child within the first 3 years needs most, and the reason why we should do some of the things we are going to start hearing from this week. All right. So this week we're going to look at the different aspects of our child whose kids have been in school. All right. And then, even if your child has not been to school at all and your child is still within the space of 3 years, you're also going to find this useful. And you're welcome to today's session of the boot camp. All right. So, we're going to be looking at structures to put in place, practical structures to help us achieve the changes we said we want in our children after our observations, the things we've noticed that they do and we are not quite comfortable with them, and so we want to change. So today we are going deeper into the practical ways to set up these structures and all of that. So the first structure we are looking at for today is emotional safety, or what I'll call the emotional structure in your home. Because when school was in section, we could say, my child picked this up from the classmates, or my child picked this up from the teacher, or whoever we feel um, was influencing our child in school. Now, schools, for those of us in Nigeria, most schools have finished exams, and so people are at home now. Now, this holiday is your opportunity to reframe your child's mind and actually let him or her know that this and that are not wonderful. They are not things your child out of the place he or she is that is not comfortable with you, either in words or in actions or in the things they do. Okay, so we are looking at the emotional structures that you can put in place. Now, the first emotional model you're going to look at is you yourself. All right. How do you respond when your child says something you don't like? Hello, I'm seeing two people streaming with me. I'm glad to have you people on. Can you just say hello in the chat? Let me see the people that are on with me. All right. I'm waiting for the chat. So, number one thing you want to look at is you. How do you respond to your child when he or she says something that is not cool with you? Or how do you respond when he or she does something that is not nice to the sibling or someone else? For instance, if your child spills water and you go raising your voice, you go saying, I've told you this before. For those of us that still hit, you hit the child on the head. Hey, big sis, good afternoon. I'm glad to have you here. All right. Okay. So and then you yell at the child, or you hit the child, or you make the child feel like a fool literally because the child made a mistake. Now chances are that when another reasons why we are not able to spend time with our children, or why we may not be able to spend time with our children during the holiday, especially the little ones, or those of us that this holiday period is the opportunity to whisk your child away to their granny's place or to a relation's place or something like that. Well, it's cool. However, your your children's grannies, or whoever you're whisking your children away to spend the entire long vacation without you being there with them, is actually not going to do your job as a parent. Those people will only help you the much they can. And of course, many of them may not even have heard what you're hearing now. And so they may not be able to be the ideal help that your children need to come out from those behavior that you're trying to curb within the holiday period, so that next academic session, before the next section begins, they would have been a kind of purged of those habits, of those actions or words. So you really need to spend time with your children, especially at every point in your parenting journey. You need to spend time with your children. But see, those first 3 years, yes, they may not be able to say all of the things you want them to say. They may not respond to all of your conversations, but they are really making impressions from those things, from the interactions going on. So the way you respond when they do things, the emotion with which you respond with, they are picking it up. I can tell you this because I see it. I have my daughter is a year and 10 months. Yes. But you see where she's pointing at you and saying what you don't understand. But of course, you know that she's trying to um tell you something that you're doing that she doesn't want. Why? Because the person she spends time with most when I'm not around speaks to her in that manner. And so it was when I discovered that we now started talking about it. And I had to speak to the person. See, this is what this girl is doing. I am not blaming you for it, but I'm letting you know that I don't want to continue with what she's doing, and this is not cool with me. We need to work on it. And it's been a process, and I'm seeing improvements in her words and all of that. So in when we express our emotions, or when we respond to what the children are doing, the emotion with which we respond is important. Now, when you're done with yourself, now extend it to your spouse, extend it to the other adults in the environment, because you cannot be the only person who is doing the right thing and then you leave others to chance or to do what they want to do. You can, like I always say, you can't say you need them to be with other people. There are other times when they have to, as a matter of necessity, be with other people, especially when it is in your home environment. How do you control, how do you put things in place such that the other people, the other significant adults in the house, don't make a mess of your efforts? So you now see where having these conversations with them comes in. And no matter however you want to communicate something that is really serious to you, find that means and communicate this emotional structure to the people around, so that they don't see it as a joke, make the necessary adjustments that they should make, or just do it anyhow. Now, while you're doing this, you're also cool with them. What I mean by taking it cool with them is when they repeat those actions, you don't go raising your to think that if we don't stop the things we've noticed now, um the shame, or they are going to start they are going to become worse. Where that is true, that may not be true. All right, that's is true if you don't remain consistent in the work you should do. But that will not be true if you do what you're supposed to do. I don't know if we'll get it. So your number one reaction should not really be about that if you don't stop it now, that the child is going to spoil. Remember that there are also things your somebody has probably complained about you or have pointed out to you to work on. You're still working on it. It has not completely resolved, and you've not spoiled literally. So you also need to extend the same grace to your little kids. All right. So when they repeat those words, you can say things like, um, call your child by his or her name and say, okay, this particular thing you said is not nice to say. Now, for children less than 3 years, you don't need to, they may not understand long explanations or long theories about things. So make it as simple as is possible. So you tell them, this you said is not nice. Please, I don't want you to say it next time. Okay? Sometimes when you say okay, they'll respond okay. All right. Now, responding that okay is one thing. They may not stop it immediately, like in the next 5 minutes or even less, they will do the same thing. But the goal is for you really not to throw throw up a tantrum literally as an adult. The goal is for you not to flare up. The goal is for you not to think that the world is crashing on you because your child lands one bad word, all of that. Last week I gave example of how my son will say, if I slap you, okay? And I know that when he says that thing, the first time I heard him say it, I didn't like it. I wasn't comfortable with it. And he didn't just stop at it. Of course, the sister will always learn because she's always around him and also it now got to the point where we're now dealing with two of them and trying to, take the words out. So when they say the words, I'll be like, Bobo, you know that that's not nice to say. And when you're doing that, you don't want to be doing something else and be saying it like you're joking. You don't want to be saying it and be pressing your phone or hurrying away in some. So when you say it, look in their face, look at them. You know that's not right. We've discussed this before. Saying that is not right. The person will now look at you, and sometimes they will just nod their head and something like that. Like, I don't want to say that next time. Okay, okay. Have I said that to you before? No. Especially if the person didn't pick it up from the house. So you can say things like, "Have I said that to you before? No. Has your daddy said that to you before? No. Call as many adults around their names. Has so and so person said that to you? No. Okay, so you see, we don't say it here. I really want you to stop saying it, okay? The person will say, okay. That's for the words there was, or for the actions that were picked outside. Then for the ones that your child actually learned from you or actually learned from people around, you'll be like, I know I used to say this before. I'm really sorry. I will not say it to you again. Okay? Person will say, okay. Also, I need you to stop saying it. Is that okay? Yes. Now, having these conversations, all right, have a way of letting your child know that there is a way to actually settle conflicts or misunderstandings. Don't think that when they become 18, they will just learn it. Okay? No. You start from the littlest age, I would say. And that's why really I'm not making this for people with older children. In as much as you can apply the same thing or twerk it here and there, but I really want us to settle for parents with young children who feel that they still have a long way to go. Maybe when they get to like 5, 10 years they'll start. No, there are actually going to be lots of, do I call it, mistakes or scars that may occur before those 10 and 15 years you're looking at, or 5 years you're looking at. Go things here. The television, they don't allow them to. The remote. if you put the remote on top of your wardrobe, their height cannot get there, their hands cannot get there, even if they climb a chair, except your wardrobe is really enough advantage as a parent of a young child diligence, you will realize that by the time the child grows older and is able to make decisions, bigger decisions, I would say, because even as a toddler, they make decisions. Of course, you give them two plates and choose which one to eat with, and they choose one. So they can actually make choice in that age. So by the time they get older and they are faced with being able to make bigger decisions, or decisions with bigger implications in their life, they've established the basics with you at home. These are really not things that any teacher would teach in school. These are not things that any Sunday school teacher or whoever would teach your child. These are the basics that we should establish with our little ones even before they go to school. All right. So your the emotional atmosphere that a child is constantly exposed to um, goes a long way to determine how that child responds in the face of conflict with